Welcome everybody. My name is Daniel Marin and I'm the community manager for OpenStack Romania. Welcome to our event, 6th birthday of OpenStack Foundation. I'm speaking in English because we will broadcast the event live, and we also have audience from other countries, at least from Taiwan, for sure we have. Taiwan, it's two companies from Taiwan are the sponsor, so they would like to see it live. So that's why we will use English language. We do that also on our previous event, and it was quite a success because everybody can find the information on our channel on YouTube. Briefly about our event today. We have 3 presentations. I will make a presentation regarding OpenStack Foundation, news and updates. Afterwards, my colleague Edward Bulai will have a presentation of AIC OpenStack turnkey solution and a live demo from the public cloud of Gemini solution provider in Taiwan. And we will have also from cloud-based solution, Iulie will have a nice presentation, I hope. Okay, I will start with OpenStack Foundation updates. Okay. As you can see, in 6 years, the community is growing very, very fast. 54,000 members, 600 companies supporting OpenStack, 179 countries, 665 average monthly contribution, 20 million plus code lines. Who use OpenStack? As you can see, a lot of big companies are using that. SAP announced it you'll see later. They announced their cloud based on OpenStack. AT&T is in a process of migrating their infrastructure to totally OpenStack. eBay, Walmart, Volkswagen, it's one of the new biggest projects in development. Also, universities are using that. Telecommunication, there are a lot of companies from telecommunication. Beside that, I can add that also the companies from Asia, like Korea Telecom and Japanese telecom, they are also using OpenStack as a main platform for their new technology implementation, like 5Gs. OpenStack Summit in Austin, you'll have a brief updates about. This is the prize we have today. We have a code for the exam. So it was announced in Austin, certified OpenStack administrator. The value of this exam, it's about $300. So if you put your name on a tag or something like that and put it in a ball, probably you have a chance to get this. .65% of deployments are in production. In Tokyo, they announced about 50% was in production, so only half of the implementation were production. Now the percentage is growing, only 6 months difference, with 33% more than last year. This is the feature that users are considering to be very important. Standardizing on the same platform and APIs that power a global network of public and private clouds. OpenStack Powered, it's a tool that provides testing by the OpenStack Foundation to meet interoperability standards, which enables multi-cloud application and portability. It's very important that this stamp on a product you are releasing gives you the backup from the OpenStack Foundation. So I think it's a very good tool for building the trust in the community and also for the other partners. As I mentioned before, SAP runs the Internet of Things on OpenStack. It was announced in Austin. So they demonstrate how their industry platform enables daemons to collect, store, and analyze massive amounts of data. SAP has chosen to standardize on OpenStack APIs as a common platform across their cloud portfolio. Volkswagen. Volkswagen Group comprises of 12 different brands in Europe, in 7 Europe countries. So each one has its own operating independency. So they're discussing about centralizing their IT group users on OpenStack to accelerate the delivery of new application and improve IT response on their global brands. OpenStack Mitaka was released this year in April. It's the 13th. Probably you know some of the information about it. At least the guys who are working with, probably you know very well. What it has better from previous release, its manageability, scalability, and user experience. A lot of developers contribute to that. OpenStack has also some books which they recommend for the community. This Path to the Cloud, it's a very useful book, especially if you are involved in selling solution based on OpenStack. So you can understand and you can emphasize the advantages of OpenStack. One question, do you think this English book, it's useful to be translated in local language, in Romanian? Just asking, because I know usually IT guys have their skills in English, so they don't need to be explained. It was just an idea, probably it helps others to understand OpenStack, I don't know. Also, network function virtualization, it's also a book accelerating NVV delivery with OpenStack. Also very useful because the network function virtualization is one of the hot topic for all the companies involved in networking area. It's a project, Smart City demo, created smart city with OpenStack, Kubernetes, Hadoop, and OpenContrail. It's a project based in Czech Republic and deploys over 3,000 endpoints and approximately 300 Internet of Things gateways, running in high availability mode in Kubernetes, driven containers to measure things like CO2 levels and temperature. OpenStack is a strategy for taking advantage of diversity in IT. The key is to embracing, delivering, including picking the right platform and remembering that the new application needs old application data from system. So it's important to integrate a lot of IT environments. OpenStack, live person, one-stop shop for bare metal instances and container, based in Israel. It's currently upgrading to Kilo, has 8,000 instances and 20,000 cores running in 7 data centers worldwide. The current setup has Kubernetes and Docker, managing 150 microservices. CoreOS demo, how to containerize, containerize OpenStack and Kubernetes. Probably it will be very interesting if you saw the demo on that. You'll have it on openstack.org video. We will have a presentation similar today regarding that, but not with Kubernetes. AT&T OpenStack Cloud, it's as I mentioned before, it's a huge project. Cloud in 74 data centers worldwide. From 2007, mobile data traffic grew by 150,000%, and AT&T goal is to virtualize and cloud enable 75% of its target network architecture using the software-centric approach by 2020. This software-centric approach is very important. If one of the biggest telecom companies is doing that, probably some of the smallest will follow them. OpenStack user group. How OpenStack impacted your career? I don't know about others, but for me it's pretty important. I suppose also for you it's important. So everybody knows that OpenStack has become one of the important things for our careers. Important dates for OpenStack timetable. We'll have in October this year Newton release, and we have the summit in Barcelona, 25th to 28th October. Next year, Okata release in April 2017, and in May 8 to 12 we have the OpenStack summit in Boston. So registration for Barcelona, it's open. Sorry regarding the call for presentation, it's already closed yesterday. But sponsoring and travel support are still valid. Any of you is going to Barcelona or planning to go there? I'm planning to go there. Boston Summit in next year, and Sydney probably in 2018. Oh, sorry, November 6, 2017, next year. That was my presentation. If you have any question. If there are no questions, anyhow, we can discuss afterwards on our in breaks. Until then, I will introduce my colleague to present his. Okay.
Thanks, Daniel. My name's Edward, or you can call me Eddie. I'm here to present to you another solution from another company in Taiwan. These guys differentiate themselves from the market by being one of the first server providers that actually adopted the open computing standard. And they partner up with another company called Gemini Open Cloud, and these guys have developed a cloud management service for your OpenStack deployment to be easily accessible to any sort of administrator in your company. So let's dive a little bit into it. Some facts about the IEC, the server provider. The IEC has been on the market for 20 years now. They're not so popular in Europe because they used to produce hardware for big vendors such as Dell, HP, so on and so forth. But nowadays they actually provide their own server solutions, racks, server bare-bones storage subsystems, and including industrial appliances for clients around the world. Their initial IPO was in 2013. They're based in Taiwan, as I said before, and this is the company that they partnered with, the Gemini Open Cloud solution. This is a more recent funded company, but they do have a background of being founded by some of the researchers from their national research institute. So they have very good credentials when it comes to their portfolio. Right. So what does CIC do? Besides what I already told you before, some things. These are some generic information about the solutions they provide, and it's pretty standard for any server provider. But I would insist on their open computing compliance, because they managed to achieve one of, I think they're basically one of the first to achieve an energy saving factor that's unseen, unprecedented before. So, like I told you, they provide an all-in-one solution, from networking to storage to rack enclosures, computing, broadcasting, industrial PCs, and so on. And just to prove their background, these are some of their clients, as you can see from As you can see, they have not been dealing with some small fish. They've been dealing with Amazon and Facebook and Mail.ru on the cloud, on the computing side of things. And this is the first time when an American company joined with a Russian company and agreed upon something. In network security, they work with Cisco, Citrix, which are well-known providers on the market. I don't think we need to go into details on that particular thing. On broadcasting, they partner up with SeaChange, Honeywell, ZTE, and on the industrial side of things, they partner up with Siemens, Advantech, NG Healthcare, among others. All right, these guys have partnered up with Gemini Open Cloud to basically provide a turnkey solution for your next OpenStack deployment in your organization. So AIC is providing the entire hardware you could possibly need, and Gemini Open Cloud provides the deployment for you to get started pain-free with your OpenStack development in your own private or public cloud, for that matter. Some of the vendors they choose for networking, for example, is HCore. For virtual desktop, they use OpenVDI, and they partner with BigTerra, which is the commercial solution for CIF, the distributed file system and block storage solution. But they're agnostic in many ways, so they can actually deploy Open Cloud Gemini solution can actually be deployed on any infrastructure, even on commodity hardware. This is basically a layout of exactly how it works. I don't think we should get into details right now because you're going to see a live demo immediately after the presentation. This is what Gemini offers right now. So if you want to test their solution, they have a proof of concept program on which they can actually deploy something on site, so you can actually test the capability of their platform. They are able to create your own cloud marketplace, so you can actually deploy and construct specific types of operating systems or platforms or all-in-one solutions. Of course, they're all based on OpenStack, and a lot of their code base is actually uses open source solutions, established open source solutions that are well maintained. And if partnering with them, this is basically what you get. So from AIC, you get the hardware part of things, where they don't have any shortcomings. And further on, you will deal with Gemini Open Cloud, so you can actually get started with OpenStack in, well, optimistically speaking, less than half a day. This is an old school layout of how an infrastructure is being made on the top side, and you can actually see how Gemini Open Cloud has actually turned that around. These are some packages. They already have some packages that they offer their clients with some well-established hardware on site. This is just the entry to mid-level. Of course, they have some more enterprise to performance tiers as well. This is an example of the of a hardware that AIC currently provides, but is will actually be updated in a couple of months or so. This is your standard 2U factor storage server. They can support memory up to 256 gigs, 12 hard drives up to 4 terabytes, and 2 SSDs of up to 400 each, and of course dual 10 gigabyte NIC and redundant power supplies. And one thing that should be noted is that these guys offer the solution which can be cooled down without needing an extra cooling solution in your data center. This is an example of a layout with Gemini Open Cloud on AIC hardware, where we can see two compute nodes and the control nodes. This is basically the entry-level package you would get. This is the high availability package where the control node actually has two extra nodes for redundancy. This is high availability and performance, where two data nodes are actually deployed separately. And of course, the configuration can go up and down and can reach hundreds, if not thousands, of servers. Right, as I said, Gemini Open Cloud provides you with your own marketplace for your own organization, regardless if you're planning on deploying your private cloud or your public cloud service. So basically, you can tailor your own operating system, your own initialization scripts, your own, basically everything you need out of the box using just a configuration file. This is just an example of how Hadoop cluster is actually being made. It's actually a three-step wizard. That's about it. You're gonna see this in the live demo shortly. Here we can see an example of video surveillance as a service, because they also support this as well. Like I said, their solution integrates in the lowest level of the operating system, so you can actually deploy not only infrastructure as a service, but also platforms as a service. Right, this is follow-up. And yeah, these are some key features of the virtual desktop infrastructure, which is sort of a new thing, but not that new. So you have a turnkey appliance with support for various hypervisors depending on what you demand. Of course, OpenStack is supported out of the box. Way more efficiency for your hardware resources, and also all the goodies that a virtual desktop environment can bring to the table, like automatic creation of user desktop synchronization, different ACLs, central management for hardware, software, and so on. Right. So this is a classic question whenever someone actually wants to build their own private cloud: is how much does it cost? And the go-to solution up until now was VMware with their vCloud solution. And yeah, any sysadmin will give you that particular answer. It will cost you a lot. So we actually didn't do this calculation ourselves. This is from OpenStackRomania.com. We can see some brief calculations of the costs of ownership of VMware compared to OpenCloud. So let's say you're going with a tier of 100 servers in your own organization. In 1 year, you'll be spending about $5.7 million on licenses, on hardware, so on and so forth. Whilst on OpenStack, that drops down to $400,000, which is a considerable decrease in your cost of ownership. And of course, this can go on for the thing is, the more servers you have in your infrastructure, the more the costs, the more OpenStack is cost saving to you. Right, and yeah, I know this. People were always reluctant to switch to new technologies. They get accustomed to some specific things they like, and it's hard to stray away from their particular habits. This is just an example of how a user thinks, but of course this can actually be recreated to sysadmins as well. This is eventually how technology finds you, and you you can resist the advances in technology up to a certain point, but from a point onward, the technology will actually catch up to you. Like I said, some sysadmins actually take their job in a very religious way in their way of doing things. So it's hard for us to convince them to switch to a better solution. But then again, like I said, technology evolves, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to switch. So what I'm trying to say is it's better for you to evolve rather than, at the end of the day, trying to adapt to the new solutions that are on the market. Thank you. Oh, sorry, not a live demo, right? Right, let's just hope that the internet is with us. This guy's been on my case all day long. Okay, first off, sorry for the very low resolution. I promise you this looks way better on a regular screen. What you see in this image is actually what I told you about. This is the Gemini Open Cloud solution. Just a second. Hope that the internet will not sabotage us. Okay. This is basically your private cloud, regardless of where it is, and regardless if it's private per se or you make it public for some reason. Here you can assign be aware of the fact that this is deployed automatically by Gemini from Taiwan, so you don't have to lift the thing. You just have to install the servers with Ubuntu 14.04 distro on it, and they'll just basically take the rest in their own hands. And this is the tenant, so to speak, tenant admin user, on which you can actually create users for certain departments. For example, if you have an accounting department that needs some kind of machines in their particular department, then you can see here in the Solutions tab, you can assign certain users some types of, let's say, templates, some OpenStack templates that they can actually deploy. So this would be very easy for a sysadmin to deploy, let's say, a Windows server with active admin on it, so that users in the organization or a certain department can actually log on to their accounts, check their emails, so on and so forth, right? In the same time, of course, you have the information which is provided directly from the OpenStack API. Sorry, it's not gonna work here. And of course, some management stuff like the volumes that you have assigned to your site. Sorry, it's very slow. Again, the sites. These are basically the machines that were created under your supervision by the user that you have created. But I think a more interesting approach would be this resolution is actually killing me. And on the other hand, you will have the user interface of the person that is actually attending your deployment in a certain department, like I said. So, like I said before, you have the option of deploying infrastructure as a service machines in your deployment. Like, let's say you want to launch, I don't know, a CentOS 6.5 machine, right? Or you can actually deploy turnkey solutions such as WordPress deployments, some sort of ERP that you guys are using, custom code that you are using, and this is all done via a YAML script, a YAML file that you declare beforehand. Of course, for every deployment, you will have full access to see exactly what is going on in the operations, such as stop the machines, destroy, so on and so forth. Of course, you get the stats. And the events being sent by OpenStack to your attention in case something happens. Okay. Yeah. That's about it. Well, actually, let's see some of the deployments we did. Let's see this. Okay, let's see this Hadoop cluster. See if it's live and well. Looks pretty okay to me. This has been actually done in a, well, actually I promised I'm going to show you the exact process in which you create this, so this is what I'm going to do. Right now we're creating a Hadoop cluster. Let's say we want, yeah, that's it, with 3 nodes. Bear in mind that this is actually a real deployment of the Gemini Open Cloud, as you can see by the IP. It's not running on my local host or anything. Alright, so we can actually see that the cluster is actually being built as we speak. Just have to wait a while, I think. But nonetheless, you can see the previous cluster is well on its way. It can be already used. Like I said, they also provide video surveillance as a service, and this is one example of an instance which you can actually see here. I think this camera is actually live, and it's actually in Taiwan right now. Those guys, I think those guys are sleeping right now, but unless we can see what's happening. And of course, like I said, you can actually deploy your already made solutions, such as a WordPress website. I just did a couple of minutes ago. It's in Taiwan. I don't know exactly what's saying there. Nonetheless, it's a WordPress installation. Alright, let's see if the cluster finished building itself. No, it's still waiting. Okay. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Mirantis is actually, so as the CEO of the Gemini Open Cloud Solution puts it, we're talking about orange versus apples. This is the Gemini Open Cloud is basically a cloud service management service altogether. So it's not a deployment solution. It's not a visualizing solution of your instances. It just pulls all the things together in one piece. Any other questions? Yeah, it's creating a Hadoop cluster with 3 nodes. So basically, it's deploying 3 machines with Hadoop installed on them and already configured to be in a high availability configuration. Yes. 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 It leverages everything OpenStack has to offer, from virtual networking to computing, storage, so on and so forth. The data node, they actually deployed Ceph on the data nodes. From the tests that they've done, they have noticed that Ceph is one of the most reliable solutions to date to deploy virtual storage. Right. So if you want, basically they kind of strayed away from the OpenStack standard block storage solution to Ceph, just because it had a bit more reliability than what OpenStack has to offer. You can pull everything. If you want, you can pull everything on a single server, of course. But you know, as I do, that it's not actually recommended to do that. But yeah, you can do that as well. I don't know if I made that pretty clear. I'm sorry. When you create a cluster, you can actually say, so you got a master and the number of slaves you want to have for that particular cluster. No, they're basically the same configuration. It's just that by default, one of them is the master as a normal configuration, but it automatically creates the number of slaves you want to for your cluster to have, depending on how much high availability you want it to have. Of course, this is just for the cluster. We can also deploy Hadoop jobs as well. The reason I'm showing you this is these are very, very different solutions, right? So while you have the deployment of a standard Ubuntu, CentOS, or whatever kind of distro you flavor as a machine, you can deploy using this interface. In the same time, you can actually deploy turnkey solutions such as a WordPress or an NX Witness, which is a video surveillance software. Or in our case, Hadoop cluster, Hadoop job, whatever. And you can add to that, this is basically the marketplace I was talking about. You can add to that whatever solution you have for your own organization. So it supports, it supports even Windows if you need it for some reason. You can tailor your configuration to basically bootstrap any sort of platform or stack that you might need in your organization or personal use for that matter. No, AIC is the hardware provider, and the Gemini Open Cloud comes with this integrated solution using OpenStack for to leverage AIC's hardware in the best way possible to create your own private or public cloud for that matter. They partner up because they're both kind of underdogs with very good credentials, and they just said let's partner up and create this and see how it goes on the market. Sorry, I think our second cluster is done. Thank you for the questions.
OpenStack are you using?
Sorry?
What version of OpenStack are you using? Like Mitaka, Kilo?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what version of OpenStack this particular deployment uses, but they are up to date with every release. So whenever there's a new OpenStack release, they adapt their code so it leverages the best of the what the latest release can actually give to you. Right. So the cluster is up and running. That took a while, didn't it? Well, then again, it's a Hadoop
No, it's
cluster.
fine.
So. Right, it's all up and running. And it took me 20 seconds or so. Well, for me to input the data. For it to be created, it took like 5 minutes or so. Right, any other questions? Yes, you can. You have all these things available to you. I'm not sure about the resizing. That's a good question. But in terms of like the strength, oh wait, it does have resizing, but only scaling up. All right, and yeah, of course you have the normal operations such as stop, destroy, and so on. Any other questions?
In the marketplace.
Well, that's the best part. You are. The demo team. Basically, you do whatever you want. You do your own marketplace with your own tailor solution. It does come with some predefined solutions such as the IAS VM, and I think the WordPress just for the proof of concept. But from that point onward, it's your dish. Whatever you want to do with it, basically go nuts.
So how do you add content to the marketplace?
It's a basic YAML file. I'm actually under the NDA. I cannot actually show this on the project. If you want, in the break, I can show you an example. No, it actually uses Puppet. Right, if my colleague from Cloud-Based Solutions, I think she had something to present as well. I'm about done, unless someone else has another question. Going once, going twice.
The flexibility regarding the hardware.
Like I said in the presentation, you can install this on a commodity hardware. So if you go to your local PC shop and get a mainboard, CPU, some memory, and a hard drive, basically you have your own OpenStack deployment with Gemini Open Cloud. But this is not their market. They address enterprise and enterprise clients. You could do this, but this is basically if you want to just toy around in your own at home with an OpenStack deployment.
If I'm in enterprise, I have to take the hardware from
No.
AAC or
No, no, no. This is just a partnership that they did, but they're not joined to the hip, so to speak. Okay.
Okay, so
If you already have your infrastructure, I know where you're coming from. There are organizations that already have in place their own servers, data centers, networking, in which they invested a lot of time and money. And of course, it will be very hard for them to stray away from their current configuration. So no, you can use it on your hardware regardless of what that hardware is. And of course, they actually provide support for if you don't have a virtualized environment, they actually provide support so you can transition your basically whatever you have on your infrastructure step by step into their OpenStack deployment. It basically virtualizes everything you have in your current infrastructure. And same goes if you already have it virtualized with something else like VMware. They actually provide you support with migrating that from VMware to OpenStack to their solution seamlessly without you having to lift a finger.
okay, thank you.
Sold.
Thank you, Eddie. We'll have a short break for 10 minutes because we need to prepare the next presentation for Iulie. So I invite you to take some juice and coffee if you want. Just 10 minutes, okay? And then we come back with the next presentation.
Doi, 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 210, 210, 2, 2, 2, 2, 210, 2. Doi, doi, doi. doi, 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 doi,
doi, 2, 10, 2.
doi, 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 10, doi, 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 10, doi, doi, 10, doi, 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 10, doi, 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 10, doi, 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 10, probă, probă, 1, 2, 3, 4, doi, 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 10, doi,
I would like you to invite to take places. We will have the next presentation. So, Iulie from Cloud-Based Solution will present us what's new in Mitaka and beyond regarding the OpenStack security in Windows Server 2016. Iulie, please.
Hello, my name is Iulie and today I'm going to talk about Mitaka features. We will talk about OpenStack security. Okay, first of all, who we are and what we do. We are we are a cloud company from Timișoara. We have the headquarters. Our second office is in Iași, but we have people working in Bucharest, Cluj, and we want to extend to those cities as well. What is our aim and what motivates us to do what we do? We are very committed to cloud computing and interoperability. We are working with top companies in the industries, such as Microsoft, Red Hat, VMware. We're very proud of that. What we are doing, basically, we are trying to integrate Microsoft solution in open source cloud software. We are trying to bridge the gap between Microsoft technologies and open source. Okay. I'll go briefly through Mitaka features. There were a lot of a huge demand for fiber channel. Now you are able to attach a fiber channel volume as a pass-through disks. It basically it's transparent to the guest, and it includes booting from fiber channel-based volumes. We were supporting, as you know, all types of migrations, but we didn't have support for Hyper-V cluster. Now you can migrate all your VMs. When something goes wrong, the instances will be migrated automatically to other nodes, which are considered healthy and continue working in a transparent mode. Very okay. Remote effects. Basically, what it does, it virtualizes your GPU. It is shared across instances by adding virtual graphics devices. It's a huge improvement, especially for RDP and also applications which require GPU. Okay, PyMI. We focused a lot on this in this cycle on performance. We did a lot of rally testing, and we saw that there are a lot of things that can be improved regarding performance. What we did, basically, we replaced the old WMI Python module with another library for a better error handling, multi-threading support, and better performance. With our rally testing, we saw it is a huge difference regarding performance, especially from neutron point of view, port binding, and everything requiring networking. A feature which I consider very important, and I think it's missing somehow from OpenStack, it's security. So I'll talk more in depth about shielded VMs. What they do, they provide a secure context, so the users can control who can access those VMs, the data, and who can modify them. Okay. So, shielded VMs, what is a shielded VM? It's basically a virtual machine that can run on guarded hosts. What is a guarded host? A guarded host is considered a host which is secure. It wasn't compromised in any way. And only that administrators or those administrators from that host can access and modify the VM data. Basically, it is checked to see that the VM is protected from tampering, theft, from malicious administrators, and host malware. I'll talk more in detail how this is done. It is based on a virtual TPM, which is new in Windows Server 2016, and the disks are encrypted with BitLocker. For now, it's supported only as the guest only for Windows Server 2016, but by this server release, it should be everything supported, including Linux. There are two modes of attestation: admin trusted attestation, which is based on an Active Directory. This is what I'll present today. TPM trusted attestation is basically based on hardware, on a physical TPM, and it's much difficult to get that hardware. Okay, how is this possible? This is possible with Host Guardian service. It's a Windows Server 2016 role. It basically provides two services. These services basically make the checking and the decryption of the disks possible. Attestation service ensures that only the hosts which are considered secure can open a VM and access its data. And the key protection service release the keys in order to decrypt the disks which are encrypted. How it's done? There are hosts which are considered guarded. They are in an Active Directory group. How I said before, it's based on Active Directory. So all the hosts you considered secure and you want to run shielded VMs on them, you add them to a group in an Active Directory. That Active Directory group will be registered to the Host Guardian service in order to recognize the guarded hosts and do the check. It's essential that the Host Guardian service domain trust the Active Directory. Okay. Basically, when you have a shielded VM and you want to start it, the attestation service will check the host, will see it is in the Active Directory group, which is considered secure and everything. Hyper-V has some hardware new feature implemented, which can actually check if that host on that host is running a malware or data which shouldn't be there. Once it's attested that, okay, I know this host, it's okay, it's secure, the key protection service will send the keys in order to decrypt the disks of that VM. It's essential to know that that VM will be able to be accessed only on the hosts in that Active Directory group. If it's migrated or the VHDX, let's say, will be stolen and want to be used on another host, it won't be able. It will go to the same process and will always be checked by the Host Guardian service in order to see if it's okay or not. Okay? There are two profiles. A shielded VM basically has a virtual TPM, which has two options: encryption option and shielded option. The encryption encryption option basically doesn't do nothing more besides encrypting VM's disks and encrypt the VM state during live migration. Besides that, how you see here, everything is supported or can be configured. Regarding shielded VM, you can't access basically anything. You don't have a VM console, you don't have serial ports, you are able to access that VM only through an RDP certificate, which will be provided by the user when the VM it's done. Okay, the setup, how I said before, a host guardian service in order to check the Active Directory group hosts. And that's the setup. But actually, to provide a shielded VM, there are required two things. Signed disk template. Let's say you have VHDX, PP4, let's say, clean install. That VHDX will have to be signed with a certain certificate, how you see here in PowerShell. You create a certificate, and using that certificate, you protect that VHDX. Why is this done? In this way, the host guardian service can check the actual state of the VHDX when the VM is done the first time. It makes sure that the VHDX wasn't compromised during creating the VM. Okay, the PDK file, basically it's an encrypted file which contains every information about that VHDX security. So it will have administration credentials, will have an unattended file, which basically will run after the VM is created. Security policy. This one is the VTPM option to be specified if it's the VM will be shielded or encrypted. The RDP certificate. In order to access a shielded VM, you can do that only using this RDP certificate, and this is the only way. A volume signature catalog VSC file basically contains that signed disk template disk data, which verifies that the VHDX wasn't modified or attempted to modify something regarding its data. Okay, here you specify the VSC file, unattended, RDP. What you see, it's you have also a guardian. Guardian basically represents the group of those nodes, hosts considered secure. So the PDK file is the key in order to check which host it's secure or not. Okay, how it's done in OpenStack? I said before, you will need the template and the PDK file. Upload the shielded template in Glance. To see if it's shielded or encrypted, you will pass as an image property. OS shielded VM will be a shielded VM. OS VTPM will be just a VTPM which will encrypt the disks. Provide the PDK reference. The user will have the PDK file, but in order to be sure that the PDK isn't modified, it will be stored as a Barbican container, so it will be transmitted secure. That reference is passed as well as the image reference, as an image property, sorry, or as metadata during NOPA boot. You will have an unattended file. In that one, you can specify the VM name, time zone, edit to add the VM in an ADE and everything. It can be as well configured. You can have substitution strings in that unattended, and it will be populated with metadata, which will be passed as meta during Nova boot. Let's take an example. So here we have the PDK file. Using PDK util is a tool you can install with pip install or git clone or repo. It provides you a container reference, which, how I stated before, it can be passed as image property or Nova boot. So how you see during image creation, is essential to specify secure boot. It's required to be shielded or encrypted, and of course the PDK reference. During Nova boot, you can override that PDK reference. You create an image which you say, okay, you'll use this PDK file. You create a VM, but you want to use another PDK. So this is why meta is passed during Nova boot. That PDK reference will override the one from the glance image. Meta is passed in order to populate that unattended file. Okay, so now it's demo time. So here is the group, the group which contains all the secured hosts. This is okay, and you can see here. This is on the host guardian service. It's Active Directory attestation mode, and the attestation group. If you can see, it's the group from that Active Directory. It's registered with that identifier. Okay. Here is a host, which is in that Active Directory, and it's considered secure. You can see it's guarded. It is registered to this host guardian service. These are the services which check the attestation if the host is secure or not. The key protection, I said before, in order to pass the keys. Okay. So now what I want to do, actually boot a VM, a shielded VM. Let's see how it's done. It has to be generation 2, has to have secure boot enable. I already have the templates, which was created before. Switch. using that template. If we start now the VM, that template will be used and will be compromised, so it won't be able to be used in any way. It requires how it's protected template and self-assigned disk. It requires VTPM. Just a second to pass. What we have to do, we created that PDK file. We have to extract the data from it in order to use all of those settings. The VM, how it uses a secure template, will have to be provisioned with VTPM and the data from the PDK. Right. So here we pass here we have to pass the path to the PDK file. Okay. I probably didn't write the right thing here. Yeah. I wanted to show how it's done. The most difficult part regarding this feature is to set up the environment. So I wanted to present the concepts here in order to understand, because this is the most important thing. I show how it's done also in OpenStack, but I thought it will be more important to get a grasp how it's done in Hyper-V and the behind the scenes. The key protector will take the data from the PDK file, which basically represents the keys which will be with the disk will be encrypted. We have to pass that keys to the VM when it's created, and set the profile being shielded or encrypted. It won't work. Okay. We have to do how I stated implemented during Nova Boot, you have to specify the substitution strings which will populate the unattended file. And initialize that VM with the birthday key. Has secure boot enabled, encrypted disks, and of course enabled shielding. So the same approach is done in OpenStack, how it's now implemented. You pass the PDK, the template, and it's the same approach. The unattended and everything, it's contained in the PDK file. So it's very important to understand how the setup is done, because if that PDK it's not generated correctly, it won't work. Or maybe you create a VM, but you won't have access to it. So it's very important to be sure that you are taking the correct steps. You don't want to generate a shielded VM, encrypt it, and then to not be able to have access to your own virtual machine because you didn't generate correctly that PDK file. So, yeah, questions if you have.
On which host would you enable the create the PDK file in OpenStack?
The user has to take care of that. The user will provide the template and the PDK reference.
So on the compute node, right?
Yes. This is why I consider essential to have a strong setup and understand the concepts, because I think it's a powerful feature, and it can bring a huge step in security. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Um, we will go for the last moment of our meeting. Don't worry. We'll make the drawing, the lucky draw for the one who will get the examination code for OpenStack administrator. I will be the, how it's called, invisible hand. Okay. Elena Guță. You're the lucky winner. Okay. So you will receive the examination code from the OpenStack Foundation by email. So I would like you to write down the email on that. You want to offer it? Why? Adina, please come back with the... Oh, okay. So if you want to offer it, then you... everybody is interested, I think. So it's your choice how you want to offer it. I didn't win it, so you have to do it. I don't know, nice lady, the tallest guy, I don't know. You choose that. Okay, you can offer it. Is anyone eager to do it? There are two guys. There are two guys, so you have to extract another one. Please. No, please go. I like the idea. Okay. So you are the lucky winner. Okay. So put it here. We have T-shirts. Because you win that, I will give you a T-shirt. So, I mean, at least you deserve a T-shirt with the OpenStack 6th anniversary. Okay. We still have 5 T-shirts, so let's do another draw. Stănescu, Viorel. You are XL, I suppose. Okay. So we still have. No, we don't have a smaller one. We think that the guys from IT are bigger. Florin. The biggest one? XXL or XL? See which fits. It's okay. Okay. Mihai Costache. Yeah, it's the smallest one. Okay. And Cristina Niculescu. Okay. Ștefan Rugin. The smallest one, XL. And the last one. pizza? Oh. No? Hello. Stănescu. You are. You are the lucky winner for XXL. Okay, so more or less our official meetup, it's closed, and I invite you upstairs in the kitchen for pizza. Yeah, so upstairs on the inside, and I'll show you. Okay, thank you very much.